Okay, so get ready for this. We're diving deep into the CompTIA A+ 1102 exam today.
Oh, wow.
I know. Certifications, they don't exactly scream excitement, right?
Right.
But what if, like, hidden inside this exam, there are, like, secret keys
hmm
to how technology actually works?
Mm.
You know, the kind of stuff that could make you, like, way more confident with tech, even if you're not trying to, become an IT pro or anything.
Yeah, that's the cool thing about the 1102. It's not just about memorizing a bunch of facts.
Right?
It's about learning how to use that knowledge to actually solve problems, like real world problems.
Okay.
And trust me, those skills, they come in handy in like everyone's life these days.
Okay, so, like, what makes the 1102 different from just, like, knowing how to use a computer?
Well, for starters, it covers a ton of stuff.
Right.
Like operating systems, security, troubleshooting. Like we're talking the whole package
Okay.
of how to make technology actually work.
Okay, I'm intrigued. So where do we even, like, begin with this deep dive?
So the 1102 exam, it's built around four main, what they call domains.
Okay.
We're going to tackle those one by one,
Yeah.
starting with operating systems.
Okay.
Then we'll go into security. Then after that, software troubleshooting.
Okay.
And we'll wrap things up with operational procedures.
Oh, wow. Okay, buckle up, listener. Operating systems first.
Yeah.
I am guessing this is more than just knowing how to, like, you know, turn a computer on and off, right?
Oh, way more.
Okay.
So the 1102, it really digs into Microsoft Windows, especially all the different versions like
Yeah.
Home, Pro, and Enterprise.
Right.
And what's really interesting is it wants you to understand, like, why would you choose one over the other?
Oh, okay. So it's like a secret decoder ring for, like, those confusing computer specs.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm in.
So, for example, take BitLocker encryption.
Okay.
The exam wants you to know that it comes built into Windows Pro,
Oh.
but not Home.
Right.
So suddenly, you're not just buying a computer. You're making a decision about data security.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
That is actually pretty smart.
Yeah.
I bet most people, they just, like, click next, next, next through, like, all that setup stuff
Right.
without actually realizing what they're, agreeing to.
Exactly. And that's what's so cool about the 1102. It
Yeah,
gives you the
definitely.
knowledge to make those decisions, those smart decisions.
Okay.
Another example, there's something called Group Policy Editor, or sometimes it's called gpedit.msc.
Okay.
It's this really powerful tool for controlling system settings.
Okay.
And it's only available in like the Pro and Enterprise editions of Windows.
Right.
Can you not necessarily think of it like those commands? They're like you're speaking the computer's language directly.
Okay.
So it might seem a little cryptic at first,
Right.
but once you get it, you can actually troubleshoot problems way faster
Huh.
than clicking around in a bunch of menus.
Okay. All right. I'm willing to give it a shot.
Yeah.
Give me an example of, like, when this would actually be useful in real life.
Okay, so let's say your internet goes down.
Okay. The worst.
Instead of panicking, you open up the command prompt and you type ipconfig.
Okay.
Boom, instantly you can see your network settings.
Okay.
And you can start figuring out what's wrong.
Oh, okay. That is kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's like having this secret set of tools that, like, most people don't even know about.
Exactly. And the 1102 doesn't stop there. It also gets into the control panel and the settings app in Windows,
Oh, yeah.
which is like mission control for your whole computer.
Yeah, those are full of, like, mysterious options. I usually just, like, avoid them
Right.
unless I absolutely have to go in there.
But that's where the 1102 knowledge comes in handy.
Okay.
Imagine knowing exactly how to configure your firewall, manage your devices, even tweak like hidden file settings in File Explorer.
Wait, hold on. Hidden file settings.
Yes, okay, I'm listening.
So the exam specifically mentions showing hidden files and extensions.
Okay.
Why? Because hidden files, a lot of times they contain, like, system critical data.
Right.
And if you mess with them, you can cause serious problems.
Okay.
But sometimes you need to access those files for troubleshooting.
Okay.
So it's like, having a backstage pass, but knowing which buttons not to press.
I like that. Okay, yeah.
And then with file extensions, it's really about safety.
Okay.
So hiding them, it can actually make it easier to accidentally open a malicious file
Oh, okay.
that's disguised as something harmless.
So you don't even know.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm getting the feeling that the 1102 is less about like, being a tech whiz
Yeah.
and more about being a smart tech user.
Right. Like understanding the choices you're making, even if you don't, go on to become an IT pro.
You got it. And that smart user mentality, it extends to network connections too.
Okay.
The 1102 wants you to know how to set up VPNs,
Okay.
how to configure wireless and wired connections,
Right.
and even understand the difference between like public and private networks.
Ooh, VPNs. Okay, those are like super trendy these days.
Yeah.
But honestly, I'm not sure I fully get like what they do or why they're important.
Okay, well, imagine you're at a coffee shop
Okay.
and you're connecting to the public Wi-Fi there.
Right.
A VPN, it creates a secure tunnel for your data. So
Okay.
it's much harder for snoopers to steal your information.
Ah, so that's why people use them for like online banking and stuff.
Exactly.
It's like a digital shield.
Precisely. And the 1102, it covers other network security concepts too.
Okay.
Like, the risks of public Wi-Fi
Right.
and all the different types of networks that you might run into.
Okay, this is all starting to make sense,
Yeah.
but we've only talked about Windows so far.
Right.
What about other operating systems like Mac OS or Linux?
Yeah.
Does the exam cover those too?
It does. It touches on them,
Okay.
while the focus is definitely on Windows.
Right.
The 1102 also includes some basics on macOS and Linux.
So it's like getting a little taste of the broader operating system world.
Exactly. So you'll learn about some common features, tools, and best practices
Okay.
for each platform.
Okay.
For example, with macOS, the exam mentions managing your Apple ID
Okay.
and understanding key features like system preferences
Right.
and time machine backups.
Time machine. I've always been so curious about that.
Yeah.
It sounds so like sci-fi.
It is pretty cool. So Time Machine, it automatically backs up your entire Mac.
Okay.
So you can easily restore your files if something goes wrong.
Oh, that's why all my Mac friends are so smug about their backups.
Right.
Okay, what about Linux? That one's always seemed like super intimidating.
Yeah, Linux can be a little more hands-on, but the 1102, it focuses on the essentials.
Okay.
You'll learn basic commands for navigating the file system,
Okay.
managing software, and configuring network settings.
So it's about being able to like speak enough Linux to like, get around and troubleshoot some basic problems.
Precisely. And one of the key takeaways for all of these operating systems
Okay.
is understanding their life cycles.
Wait, operating systems have life cycles.
They do.
I thought they just kind of like existed forever.
Not quite.
Yeah.
So operating systems, they get updates.
Right.
And eventually they reach end of life,
Okay.
meaning they're no longer supported by the vendor.
Oh, okay. So that's why it's so important to like keep your operating system up to date.
Exactly.
It's not just about like the new features, it's about the security too.
That's right.
Okay.
The 1102, it wants you to be aware of these life cycles.
Okay.
So you can make those smart decisions about upgrading or
Right.
switching to a different platform.
Okay, this is making me realize just how much is going on behind the scenes of like our technologies.
Oh, we're just getting started.
Oh, no,
We've
no.
only scratched the surface of the operating systems domain.
Okay.
Next up, we're going to dive into the world of security.
Okay.
And that's where things get really interesting.
Ooh, okay, I can't wait. Security is like on everybody's mind these days.
Yeah.
I'm ready to unlock those secrets.
All right, let's do it. All right, so are you ready to dive into the world of security? Because the 1102 exam, it doesn't mess around, it goes deep.
Oh, I'm ready to bring it on. I want to learn how to like, keep my data safe and all that.
Good.
And honestly, after all that talk about operating systems, I'm kind of paranoid about all the ways things could go wrong.
Well, that's actually a good mindset to have.
Okay.
And the 1102, it starts by breaking down security into two main types,
Okay.
physical and logical.
Okay. So I'm guessing physical security is like, locks and alarms and all that stuff.
You got it. So it's about protecting your actual hardware,
Right.
like computers, servers, even whole data centers from unauthorized access.
Okay.
They're talking security guards, cameras, badge readers, the works.
So it's like the real world defenses, like someone actually breaking in and stealing your stuff.
Exactly. But then there's logical security,
Right.
which is all about protecting your data and your systems from like digital attacks.
Okay.
Think passwords, firewalls, encryption,
Right.
the stuff that keeps hackers out, even if they never actually set foot in your building.
Ah, okay. So it's like having a digital fortress around your information, even if someone like, gets past the physical security.
Precisely. And the 1102 exam, it wants you to understand how these two types of security work together.
Yeah.
It's like a layered approach. Each layer adds another level of protection.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. So what are some of the like cool things you learn about in that, in that logical security section.
Well, one of the most interesting concepts is something called access control lists, or ACLs.
They're like digital bouncers.
Okay.
They control who can access what resources on a network.
So it's like having a VIP list for your data. Only certain people get in.
Exactly. So ACLs are crucial for protecting sensitive data
Okay.
and preventing unauthorized access to like files, folders, even whole systems.
Right. Now, speaking of access, I hear a lot about multi-factor authentication these days. Is that something the 1102 covers?
Oh, absolutely. Multi-factor authentication or MFA.
Right.
It's like having multiple locks on your door.
Okay.
So it requires you to provide more than one form of identification before you can get access, which makes it way harder for hackers to break in, even if they do manage to steal one of your passwords.
So instead of just relying on a password, you might also have to enter a code that gets sent to your phone or use a fingerprint scanner or something.
Exactly. MFA just adds that extra layer of security by making it much harder for hackers to get access, even if they steal your credentials. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Now, what about mobile devices?
Yeah.
Those are like mini computers these days.
They are.
Does the 1102 cover security for those too?
It does. The exam delves into mobile device management, or MDM, which is all about securing and managing smartphones and tablets.
So like companies could use that to enforce security policies and things like that.
Exactly. So they can control app installations.
Right.
They can even remotely wipe devices if they're lost or stolen.
Oh, wow.
So MDM is really important for protecting sensitive data that's stored on mobile devices.
Okay.
And making sure that they're complying with security regulations.
Okay, so we've talked about physical security and logical security, but I'm guessing the 1102 also covers like wireless security, since Wi-Fi is everywhere these days.
You're right. Wireless security is a major focus of the exam.
Okay.
And it starts with understanding all the different wireless security protocols.
Okay, remember we talked about WPA2 and WPA3 earlier?
Right.
Are those the ones to look out for?
Absolutely. So WPA2 has been the standard for a long time.
Right.
But WPA3 is the new kid on the block.
Yeah.
And it offers even stronger security features.
So if my router supports WPA3, I should definitely use that.
It's designed to be more resistant to those hacking attempts.
Okay.
And just provides better protection overall for your data.
Okay, I'm making a note of that. Now, beyond just the protocols, does the exam cover other ways to secure a Wi-Fi network?
It does. It dives into authentication methods like Radius and TACAX Plus.
Okay.
Which are like gatekeepers that verify the identity of users who are trying to connect to your network.
So they're like the bouncers at a club checking IDs before they let anyone in.
And they play a crucial role in controlling access to your network and preventing those unauthorized users from connecting.
Okay, all right. That's starting to paint a clearer picture of wireless security, but I know the 1102 also covers the scariest part of the digital world.
Uh-oh.
Malware.
Ah, yes, malware, the digital boogeyman.
Okay, first things first, remind me, what exactly is malware?
So malware is short for malicious software.
Right.
And it covers a wide range of nasty programs that are designed to, cause trouble on your computer systems.
Okay.
Think viruses, worms, trojans, ransomware, spyware, the whole evil family.
Ugh. Just hearing those names gives me the chills. Does the exam really make you learn about all those different types?
It does.
Oh, my God.
And not just learn about them, but how to detect them.
Okay.
Remove them and prevent them.
Okay.
It's like becoming a digital detective,
Okay.
armed with the knowledge to fight back against these digital threats.
Okay, that actually sounds kind of cool. So walk me through some of the malware villains that the exam covers.
All right, so we've got the classic Trojan horse, disguising itself as a legitimate program to trick you into installing it.
Oh, yeah.
Once it's inside, it can unleash all sorts of chaos, from stealing your data to giving hackers remote control of your computer.
So it's like a digital wolf in sheep's clothing.
Exactly. And then there are rootkits.
Okay.
Which are like digital ninjas, operating in the shadows, hiding their presence on your system.
Right.
They can be really tough to detect and remove.
Oh, wow.
And they can give hackers administrative control.
Okay.
And allow them to spy on your activities.
Okay, those sound especially scary. What about ransomware?
Yeah.
That one seems to be everyone's worst nightmare these days.
Ransomware is like digital kidnapping. It encrypts all your files.
Oh, no.
Holds them hostage until you pay a ransom to get the decryption key.
Wow.
It's a nasty business,
Ugh. It's enough to make you want to like unplugged from the internet entirely.
Right.
But I'm guessing the exam also teaches you like how to protect yourself from these threats, right?
Absolutely. So the 1102 really emphasizes a multi-layered approach to security.
Yeah.
This includes having strong passwords,
Right.
being cautious about suspicious emails and websites,
Oh,
keeping your software updated,
right.
and of course, using reliable antivirus and anti-malware software.
So it's like building a fortress around your digital life
Exactly.
with multiple layers of defense
Right.
to keep those bad guys out.
And it's not a one-time thing. It's an ongoing process
Right.
that requires vigilance and proactive measures.
Okay, I'm starting to feel a lot more like empowered to actually take control of my own security.
Good.
But what happens when things do go wrong?
Right.
Does the exam cover that too?
It does. The 1102 dives into this 7-step process for malware removal.
Okay.
It's like having a digital emergency response plan
Okay.
to guide you through the process of, isolating, identifying, and getting rid of that threat.
Okay, walk me through those steps. I want to be prepared if or when I encounter malware.
Okay, so first, you investigate and verify the symptoms, like a detective gathering clues.
Okay.
Then you quarantine that infected system to prevent the malware from spreading.
Okay, so like putting it in a digital isolation ward.
Exactly. Next, you disable system restore to prevent the malware from coming back through a restore point.
So cutting off its escape route.
Precisely.
Clever. Okay, so then you unleash the anti-malware software to like clean up the mess.
You got it. And the exam emphasizes the importance of updating your anti-malware software before you run a scan.
Right.
Make sure you've got the latest defenses in place.
Okay.
Then you schedule regular scans and updates to prevent future infections.
So it's like having a regular checkup for your computer.
Precisely. Once the coast is clear,
Okay.
you re-enable system restore
Right.
and create a new restore point.
Okay, makes sense. But what about preventing malware in the first place?
Yeah.
Is that covered in the exam too?
Absolutely. The 1102 dives into social engineering,
Oh, yeah.
which is basically the art of manipulating people
Okay.
into divulging confidential information
Right.
or performing actions that compromise security.
Oh, like those phishing emails that try to trick you into clicking on bad links.
Exactly. Phishing is just one tactic that social engineers use. Right.
They might also try vishing,
Okay.
which is phishing over the phone
Okay.
or even shoulder surfing,
What's that?
where they literally look over your shoulder to steal passwords or other information.
Oh, wow. It sounds like you really have to be constantly on guard against those social engineering attacks.
You do, but the good news is the 1102 exam, it equips you with the knowledge to recognize these tactics
Okay.
and avoid falling victim to them.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground in terms of threats and defenses and all that, but I know the exam also gets into specific security settings and best practices, right?
You're right. It dives into how to secure workstations, mobile devices, even your home network.
Okay.
And it all starts with understanding the built-in security features in the Microsoft Windows operating system.
Okay, like the Windows Firewall and Defender antivirus.
Exactly. The 1102 wants you to know how to activate,
Right.
deactivate, and configure these essential security features
Okay.
to protect your system from malware and other threats. So it's like, learning how to use the built-in security system that comes with your computer.
Precisely. And it goes beyond just antivirus and firewalls.
Okay.
The exam covers managing user accounts and groups,
Okay.
controlling access to files and folders,
Right.
even encrypting your whole hard drive with BitLocker.
Wait, encrypting your entire hard drive? That sounds like intense.
It is, but it's also one of the most effective ways to protect your data from unauthorized access.
Right.
Especially if your device is lost or stolen.
Oh, okay. I'm starting to see how deep the rabbit hole of security goes.
It goes deep.
And we haven't even talked about mobile device security yet.
That's right. We'll explore the world of mobile device security next.
Okay.
Where we'll uncover the secrets to keeping your smartphones and tablets safe from those digital threats.
All right, bring it on. I'm ready to lock down my digital life. Okay, so we're back and ready to tackle mobile device security.
Right.
It's crazy how much we rely on our smartphones and tablets these days.
It really is. They're extensions of ourselves, holding so much personal and sensitive information.
Right.
And the 1102 exam, it recognizes that.
Right.
It emphasizes security measures that are really specific to these devices.
Okay, so walk me through some of the must-know tips for mobile security that the exam covers.
Well, it all starts with the basics, using screen locks.
Okay.
Whether it's a strong PI or password, a pattern, or even biometric authentication like fingerprint or facial recognition,
Right. Yeah.
that first layer of defense is like crucial.
Yeah, it's like locking the front door to your digital life.
Exactly.
I'm also a big fan of those like remote wipe features. It gives me peace of mind knowing I could like erase my data if my phone ever went missing.
Oh, absolutely. And locator applications can also be a lifesaver for
Right.
tracking down a lost or stolen device.
Right.
But securing your device is just one part of the equation.
Okay.
Keeping your mobile operating system up to date is just as important.
Oh, right. Those OS updates. Sometimes it feels like they're coming out every other week.
Yeah.
But you're saying it's not just about like the new emojis and all the like fancy features?
No, those updates often include like critical security patches
Oh,
that fix known vulnerabilities. So it's like a security system upgrade.
right. Okay. I'm definitely going to be more diligent about those updates from now on. What other like mobile security gems does the exam cover?
Well, it talks about device encryption,
Okay.
which scrambles all your data,
Good.
making it unreadable without the decryption key, even if someone gets past your screen lock.
Ah, it's like having a secret code that only you know.
Exactly. And speaking of secrets, the exam also stresses the importance of being really careful about the apps you install.
Okay.
Downloading apps from like untrusted sources, like those shady third-party app stores, is a big no-no.
Yeah, you never know what could be lurking in those apps.
Right. It's always best to stick to the official app stores,
Right.
like Google Play or Apple's App Store. And be careful about enabling developer mode on your device.
Developer mode.
Yeah, unless you really know what you're doing.
Okay.
Developer mode, it unlocks advanced settings and capabilities that are helpful for developers, but it also exposes your device to more potential security risks.
Okay, I'll definitely keep that box closed. Anything else we should be looking out for in terms of, like, mobile security threats?
Well, the exam mentions root access or jailbreaking,
Okay.
which is basically bypassing the security restrictions on your device.
Okay.
And it might sound tempting to have unlimited control,
Right.
but it also makes your device way more vulnerable to malware and other attacks.
So it's like removing the safety net from your device, not a good idea.
Definitely not. And be wary of bootleg or malicious apps,
Okay.
which are often disguised as like legit apps,
Right.
but can secretly steal your data or
Yeah.
cause other harm.
It's like the digital wolf in sheep's clothing again. Okay, so basically, when it comes to mobile security, it's all about like knowing the risks and being proactive about protecting yourself.
Exactly. And if you start noticing anything weird on your device, like high network traffic or sluggish performance or unexpected app behavior,
Right.
those could be signs of a security issue that needs to be addressed.
Okay, I'll be sure to keep an eye out for those red flags. Now, I know the 1102 exam goes beyond, like, just troubleshooting individual devices.
Right.
It also covers how to, like, keep entire networks safe, right?
You're right. It dives into securing SOSHO networks,
Okay.
which stands for Small Office Home Office.
Okay.
So these are the networks we use in our homes and small businesses.
Right.
And they need just as much protection as large corporate networks.
So walk me through, like, some of the network security wisdom the exam imparts.
Well, it starts with your home router, that little box that connects you to the internet.
Right.
One of the most important things you can do is change the default password.
Okay. Yeah, it makes sense. Those default passwords are often, like, really easy to guess, right?
Yeah, exactly. And beyond passwords, the exam also covers other router settings,
Okay.
like enabling encryption,
Right.
disabling unused services,
Okay.
and keeping the firmware up to date.
Firmware updates.
Yeah.
Those are important for routers, too.
Oh, yeah, routers need those updates just as much as phones and computers.
Okay, I'm adding update router firmware to my to-do list right now.
Excellent. And speaking of to-do lists, the 1102 exam doesn't stop at security concepts.
Okay.
It also dives into the practical side of working in an IT environment,
Okay.
the operational procedures that keep things running smoothly.
Ooh. Okay, so this is where we get into the nitty-gritty of IT.
Exactly. And it all starts with documentation.
Okay.
Think of it like creating a detailed instruction manual for your entire IT infrastructure.
So we're talking about documenting, like, everything from network diagrams to user account procedures to troubleshooting steps.
You got it. The 1102 emphasizes using ticketing systems, which are like help desks for your IT infrastructure,
Okay.
to track and manage those support requests.
Okay.
So it's all about creating a system where problems are reported,
Right.
addressed, and documented consistently.
Okay. Yeah, I can see how that would be like crucial for any IT team,
It is.
especially as networks get like more and more complex.
Absolutely. And beyond just documenting problems,
Right.
the exam also covers asset management,
Okay.
which is like keeping an inventory of all your technology,
Okay.
computers, servers, software licenses, the whole shebang.
So it's about knowing what you have, where it is, and who's responsible for it. That sounds like a full-time job in itself.
It can be, but effective asset management is really important for any organization that relies on technology.
Okay, now speaking of keeping things organized, does the exam cover change management? I
Yeah,
imagine that's a big deal in IT with technology constantly evolving.
you're right. Change management is all about making sure that any changes to IT systems are planned, implemented, and controlled in a way that minimizes disruptions and risks.
So it's like having a roadmap for any changes.
Exactly.
Right.
And the exam emphasizes having a rollback plan,
Okay.
just in case something goes wrong.
Right. Because let's be real, technology sometimes has a mind of its own.
It definitely does. And speaking of things that can go wrong, the 1102 also covers workstation backup and recovery methods.
Oh, backups. Those are like the digital equivalent of an insurance policy.
Exactly. And the exam covers different types of backups, from full backups that capture everything
Right.
to incremental backups that just copy what's changed.
Right.
It's all about having a strategy to protect your data if there's a disaster.
Makes sense, because losing all your data would be a nightmare.
It would be. And beyond just creating backups,
Right.
the exam also stresses the importance of testing them regularly
Okay.
to make sure that they'll actually work when you need them.
So it's like running a fire drill for your data.
Exactly. No, beyond just the the technical aspects of IT,
Right.
the 1102 also covers something that's often overlooked:
Yeah.
safety.
Oh, right. It's easy to forget that working with computers can involve like real world hazards too.
You're right. The exam emphasizes the importance of ESD protection,
Okay.
which is all about preventing static electricity from damaging sensitive electronic components.
So those anti-static wrist straps that you see, like, technicians
Yeah.
wearing, they're not just for show.
Nope, they're an essential safety precaution.
Yep.
And the exam also covers proper power handling,
Okay.
equipment grounding, even lifting techniques to prevent injuries.
So it's about being safe and responsible in every aspect of IT work.
Precisely. And the 1102 doesn't stop there.
Oh, wow.
It also dives into the environmental impacts of technology,
Okay.
emphasizing responsible disposal of hazardous materials,
Right.
like batteries and toner cartridges.
It's great that the exam takes like a holistic approach to IT, considering not just the technical stuff, but the human and environmental factors too.
I agree. And speaking of the human factor, the 1102 wraps up with a really crucial topic:
Okay.
communication techniques and professionalism.
Yes, because even the most like brilliant tech minds need to be able to communicate effectively with, users and colleagues and management and all that.
Exactly. The exam covers everything from professional appearance and attire
Okay.
to clear and concise communication
Right.
to cultural sensitivity and respect for privacy.
So it's about being not just like a technical expert, but also a skilled communicator and a responsible professional.
Precisely. And those skills are so valuable in any career, not just IT.
Well, this has been an amazing deep dive into the CompTIA A plus 1102 exam. We've covered so much, from like how operating systems work to network security to like the practical realities of working in IT.
It's been quite the journey.
It has.
And I think the biggest takeaway for our listeners is that the CompTIA A plus certification, it's not just a piece of paper.
Right.
It's a passport to a world of possibilities.
Absolutely. Whether you're looking to start a career in IT
Right.
or just become a more informed and empowered technology user, the knowledge and skills covered in this exam are like priceless.
And on that note, I want to leave our listeners with one final thought.
Okay.
We've talked a lot about security today.
Right.
But remember, security is not just about technology. It's about people.
Right.
It's about making smart choices, being aware of the risks, and taking those proactive steps to protect yourself and your data.
That's such an important reminder, because at the end of the day, technology is just a tool.
Right.
It's up to us to use it wisely and responsibly.
Well said. And with that, I think we've reached the end of our deep dive.
Thank you for joining us on this adventure into the world of the CompTIA A plus 1102 exam.
It's been a pleasure.
We hope you found it insightful and engaging. And to our listener, if you're inspired to learn more about the CompTIA A plus certification, we encourage you to visit the CompTIA website and explore all the resources they offer. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring the amazing world of technology.